ice cream for only $50.99 or Red Bull energy drink. Buy any two for just 22 emalangeni. Win your share of thousands in cash instantly with the Spar Rewards Grand Cash Giveaway. Only at Spar.
A very good evening. This is Eswatini TV News at 8. I am Nathalie Sitole. Alongside Nomakabiso Ngambule. First up, let's have a look at our top stories.
His Majesty King Mswati III has commended Mswati for not giving up on the country's vision of making it to first world status. Angola President-elect João Lourenço has officially been sworn into office. The Deputy Prime Minister says the passing of Queen Elizabeth II is a major loss to Eswatini as she worked well with the country.
The news. His Majesty King Mswati III has commended Mswati for not giving up on the country's vision of making it to the first world status. His Majesty was speaking at Mbangweni Royal Residence during the Shiselweni business dinner. The dinner was also attended by Her Majesty the Queen Mother.
The Shiselweni business dinner, which was hosted by the Shiselweni Forestry, created an opportunity for His Majesty the King, government, and the Shiselweni business community to deliberate on how to develop the business sector in the region. It was also a suitable chance for the business industry to inform and describe to His Majesty about their business opportunities and challenges they come across on a daily basis as they continue with their work, since they have not been able to gather in this manner the past 2 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Addressing the gathering, His Majesty King Mswati III applauded the business sector for not giving up on their country's vision of being a first world country despite the COVID-19 and unrest challenges. His Majesty has encouraged businesses in the region to strive and put double effort in their businesses to recover and regain what they have lost during the COVID-19 and unrest. The King also declared a number of regional projects to the gathering. The projects are the construction of a dam and the construction of the Geges-Kunusa Road. The King further encouraged the business community to subcontract on these upcoming projects.
Bekunene siyathi ukuthi akukabe malula bo-COVID ngoba kube nabo COVID kube netehlakalo letinye letibona lesokuthi ditsika beta dona temisebenzi kepha ke nje lesikuthumisako ukuthi eMswati akakalahli ithemba futhi akakawulahla umbono wekuthi siyaka first world ngoba ngila sifanele sifike khona ebekunene. Bekunene manje tinhlelo leti tawubukwa ngalapha eShiselweni kubukwa ukuthi sigotsi sikhula njani kunelidam lelikhulu leli bukiwe nanalo ukuthi masinyane litawuphindze nalo libiswe njengoba besathi ukuthi manje ahle angabi ngilanele kahle la eShiselweni bekunene kulamalanga kuneli ucwaningo lelikhulu lebelibuka kwekuletha lelidam njengoba na ukhumbula ukuthi eParliamentary nakuvulwa eParliamentary lonyaka kwaba ngilomunye imisebenzi lesayimemetela lena nekunika tatfo loqina live beshiselweni ukuthi lelidamu nani ligatseni ngemehlo lamabili njengoba nami ngiligatse ngemehlo lamabili ebekunene.
His Majesty also complimented chiefdoms, torrents and medians for the success of this year's Umhlanga ceremony. The King said it is very encouraging to see young people observing and preserving this cultural event.
Bekunene sithumisa nayo imimango imiphakathi nebatali nabo bonke ukukhuthata imbali libutho lembali nalimenyetiwe livele libonakala umgqumo walo umkhulu sibili nabo awubabonakele ukuthi awu bese bavele bawufunela umsebenzi lomkhosi ngemandla lamakhulu ngoba indlela lobubona ngayo ukuthi basebumnanzini ngayo bobona lokho ukuthi awu leminyaka solo bangakhona ukukwenda lokho bese kuvele kuba khathata kakhulu bekunene. Bekunene umsebenzi wemhambo namasiko kungumhambo wethu sibakangwane. Siye sijabule ke nasibona eMswati ikakhulu nalabasha bawakhuthalele emasiko ubona ukuthi kumbe akusiyo into labayifanekiselako ubona lokujabula kwabo neluthando lwalo msebenzi ubone ukuthi lokhu labakondako kusuka le enhlitweni lokho kuyasijabulisa kakhulu bekunene.
The acting Prime Minister, Senator Themba Masuku, revealed to His Majesty that more than 100,000 Canadians attended the reed dance this year and about 10,000 tourists flocked into the country during the ceremonies.
I have a message to you from those members of the Imbali Regiment, Lababala Ekaya. They asked me to thank you, and say Bayet for the many gifts you presented them with. They mentioned t-shirts, sneakers, tindlam, sanitary wear, Pinzi KFC nabo, and tinkums.
Speaking on behalf of the Shiseloni business community, the Managing Director of Shiseloni Forestry, Peter Kuv, disclosed to His Majesty about the business opportunities his company has ventured into.
Business are striving and are well in the Eswatini region, and we're making ends meet. From Eswatini Forestry side, we have acquired the assets of peak timbers in the whole region during the COVID time. Luckily, we started negotiating before COVID, but we could pull the transaction through during COVID, Your Majesty.
The nation is looking forward to the completion of the Johnson Workwear factory, which is expected to create more than 3,000 job opportunities. Factory shells at Mandambe by FTM Garments, which will create about 1,000 job opportunities on top of the two huge projects, which are the construction of the dam and the Geges-Tonusa Road. On the news, I'm Poli Lemazia at Mbangweni Rural Residence.
Angola's President-elect João Lourenço has officially been sworn into office at a ceremony that was attended by 14 African heads of state. The Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini represented His Majesty King Mswati III, and the ceremony was organized in Luanda, Angola's capital.
The inauguration ceremony of Angolan President-elect João Lourenço attracted over 14 heads of state and government throughout Africa. Countries like Portugal, Bolivia and Brazil were also represented at the ceremony that was also attended by hundreds of Angolians. His Majesty King Mswati III was represented by the Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini. The President of the Angolan Constitutional Court was given the honor to administer the oath of office and allegiance to the Angolan Constitution to both President Lourenço and his deputy, Esperança Costa. President Lourenço ascended to the presidency, having been recommended by then-President José Eduardo dos Santos, who ruled the oil-rich country for 38 years. His first term of office was in 2017. Last month, his party, the MPLA, won what was the tightest election in history here in Angola. The president promised his people that they will work hard to revive the economy. He also pledged to bring reforms to the country's education system, while also strengthening the health sector and create employment, especially for young people. Angola is the 7th largest country in Africa by area. It has a population of slightly over 33 million people. A majority of them live below the poverty line. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Lincoln Kule in Angola.
The Deputy Prime Minister Themba Masuku says the passing of Queen Elizabeth II of England is a major loss to Eswatini as she worked well with the country. The Deputy Prime Minister was speaking at the British High Commission at Eswatini after signing the condolence book.
Since the passing of Queen Elizabeth II on the 8th of this month, Eswatini, like most countries around the world as well as the Commonwealth, has mourned her death. On Thursday, the Deputy Prime Minister Themba Masuku signed the condolence book at the British High Commission at the Royal Villas at Eswatini. Masuku says the late Queen has a rich history with the kingdom, and this is evident as Great Britain continues to support the country.
Sineke njengelive siyakhumbula ukuthi eMangisi abe sivikela ngikonje sasibitwa British Protectorate asivikele timpini letakhona esifundzeni lapho kwakulwa khona eMangisi nemabhunu siyakhumbula ke nokuthi na mazibuse asihlukumeda ngalawa Mangisi savele sa ngebuholi bengosi sobuza sibili kwakhulunyiswana nje kwabathi ngathi le beyichitheka.
The Queen's funeral will be held on Monday, the 19th of this month. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Ngamandla with Mbongwa Dube, Zulwini.
In a statement from the Office of the Government spokesperson, government wishes to condemn in the strongest possible terms the ongoing senseless attacks on members of the country's security forces, with the latest incident being that of a police officer that was shot while on duty along the Tabandu Highway on Tuesday evening. What is becoming clearer with each new incident is that the continued random shooting and killings of members of the country's security forces has absolutely nothing to do with politics of change or political reforms, but are a franchised money-making criminal activity sponsored by faceless criminals that benefit financially from the scheme at the expense of Mswati. Government would like to warn that such threats cause anxiety to the nation and are the reason that continues to derail the envisioned national dialogue which all Mswati are looking forward to. Government wishes that such threats may be completely eliminated in order to allow Mswati to live in peace and harmony, as the case has always been. Government takes this opportunity to wish the injured police officer a speedy recovery. In line with His Majesty's command, government, within the limited resources available, will continue to provide the necessary support to the country's security forces and provide the required protective gear and other essential materials while they execute their duties. The Ministry of Tinkhundla and Development today joined 7 communities under the Matsanjeni South constituency in celebrating the farewell of World Vision app project in Matsanjeni. The project started in May 2003 and has been doing developmental work for the past 19 years to especially the livelihoods of children.
The World Vision Matsanjeni Development Program started in May 2003 and has been phased out in September 2022. With a population of 10,518 people, 3,150 children under the constituency were sponsored by World Vision in the 19-year period. Tinkhundla and Development Minister David Ngamphalala says government appreciates all the good work the organization has done through its interventions in the HIV and AIDS fight, the nutrition and water and sanitation programs, as well as the livelihoods and community sponsorship plan.
World Vision ekunene adumise emakhosi labona kubuhle ukuthi tinhlangano tibe nethuba lokuthi titokwenza imisebenzi la eveni. Lo sibona World Vision sohleli 19 years lamathanjeni. Sivile ke uma uva ngemuntu ngamunye badumisa lentuthuko leyendiwe ngeWorld Vision. Tisibe sala sijabule kakhulu. Siyethemba nesakhiwo sitawuphatheka kahle njengoba World Vision usho 10 years. Utawuphinda tohlola ukuthi letakhiwo nentuthuko lela iyaqhubeka yini lokho kuyasijabulisa bekunene.
World Vision National Director Tina Mukunda says World Vision Eswatini is very pleased to have been part of the partnership with the government of Eswatini and various development partners that have all brought about this positive change to the communities under this Tinkhundla.
A number of projects have been implemented ranging from health and nutrition to livelihood and economic development, to education, to child protection, to gender, to water, hygiene and sanitation. And we have worked alongside this community to be able to promote child well-being. And as we close our office after 19 years of operation, we want to celebrate quite a lot of achievements that have been registered.
A total sponsorship funding of 137 million emalangeni was used during the period of 19 years to develop 7 communities under Matsanjeni. Some of the works done during the period include construction of 7 neighborhood care points and the installation of 41 boreholes, to name a few. Sifiso Ngumalo for Eswatini TV News in Matsanjeni.
The Public Accounts Committee says the law should take its course in the paying of an extra 20 million emalangeni to a contractor during the construction of the Manzini-Mbadlane highway. The committee says civil servants who were responsible for this should be held liable. The extra payment was due to delays on the project.
The Auditor General's report shows that the Ministry of Public Works and Transport paid an unnecessary amount of over 20 million emalangeni to a contractor during the Manzini to Mbadlane highway construction for lack of site access. The lack of site access caused delays to the project, and this was because of negotiations between government and a property owner whose land was along the construction site.
The offer yet being kakhulu yamniketa 1.586 million. Lekuba final order, i-board of assessment nje isebenza njengenkantolo kuba i-final order lelapho khona uhulumende wasoyibhadala le mali. But 2018 i-project bese icale nga-2016 lona losebenzako lapha vele selo akhala lokuthi ude i-access to le site ngoba kukhona indlela bebasebenza ngayo. Lama claims ke lawa 20 million kwase ngama claims a contract lokuthi ufuna kusebenza akakhona ukuthi asebenze ngoba solo kunana umuntu longesuki lapha ya.
Members of the Public Accounts Committee did not take the explanation.
The Board of Assessment ithola ukuthi se 1.5. Lebe ngifuna ukuhlola ukuthi i-ministry be ukekelana uyojika le ungathatha evaluation uconze evaluation nje nibangele evaluation le official nalo muntu.
Uhulumende utana 200,000 but lona utana 1.2 million. Emva kwaloko uyachubeka uya-insista nakhunja hulumende ukuthi hayi mina ngidakuniketa 700,000 leni kanzi lapha kusuka kwentelwa kulobha abantu yini because phela umcompensator based on evaluation lo muntu.
Ngifuna nje kusupporta bona chair lakuseni ni negligence at its best lana chair. There's no two ways about it. Ngicabanga ukuthi nje njengoba shida umhlonishwa Eswatini ifuna lungene kulama issues la njengalawo.
Mkhaliphi emphasized that there was no negligence on the part of the ministry, but the process was delayed by officers doing due diligence. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela with Temba Shabangu, Parliament.
In our international news, Queen Elizabeth II's funeral on Monday is said to be one of the biggest gatherings of royalty and politicians hosted in the UK for decades. 500 heads of state and foreign dignitaries are expected to be in attendance. We have a report.
Rehearsals for the funeral of the late Britain Queen are in its prime. Members of Britain's armed forces have been engaged on rehearsals the whole night of Wednesday. These forces include mounted horse guards, bagpipers, members of the Royal Navy, to name a few. On another note, some of the world leaders who have accepted invitations include USA President Joe Biden, Brazil President Jair Bolsonaro, Italy President Sergio Mattarella, and Commonwealth leaders. Currently, mourners are given the opportunity to view the Queen's coffin in what is known as lying in state. This activity will go on till the morning of the Queen's burial service on Monday, 19 September. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Thandukuhle Mdluli. Pictures from VOA and France 24.
The Public Accounts Committee says non-payment of arrears is a contributor to businesses collapsing. The committee also says this has a negative impact on the economy as these companies then fail to pay their taxes. This has been said when the Ministry of Public Works and Transport appeared before the PAC on Thursday.
The Public Accounts Committee says local businesses that do business with government are collapsing due to non-payment. The committee says these companies are awarded tenders, but there is always difficulty when it comes to making payment.
This is a thorny issue, Lema areas. Whenever we're going to borrow money, sine areas clearance strategy, the SASISA will be na IMF, which we shall adhere to. So that's what I'm adhering. Sesoboleka imali kuba lukhuni che lokuphendula ukuthi lokwazi ukubhadala ingani ngoba sakuveta ezi areas la with line ministries nasithi with line ministries kungenteka ukuthi contract kungenteka ini asad, but the onus is on the ministry to make good wale tindo labatenda che. It's not for accountant general kube manje basibona ku accountant general lengikhuluma ngakho kutsinga imali then ngangikhuluma lenye indzaba che ngiyofuna imali.
Business kufike bo COVID labanye bavala labanye futhi amsho ukuthi banihambela imali nje sebavala nekuvala sebagada nje ukuthi ngabe sisabathe na business ngabe seyawubuya nini kumbe le eyobuya imkhanze ngalana akuphi lo soma business ema interest la dikolete for that badala tita mkhanza tinto tihle uthi accountant general control office principal accountant dilekini emashelfini yathi nafuna sibophe bantfu la kuboshwe nje umuntu mbamba lo kuthi akende umsebenzi angene estocksini.
The committee has stated that these companies owned by government have to be paid because they are also in business and also employ a number of people. As this was said when the Ministry of Public Works and Transport appeared before the committee, Principal Secretary Thulani Mkhaliphi said they also wanted to see these companies paid. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosima Vimbela with Temba Shabangu, Parliament.
And now we'll have a look at our financial markets.
Standard Bank. It can be.
Moving on, we'll have a look at our sports news. MTN Eswatini has injected a package of 19.5 million emalangeni to the Premier League of Eswatini for a duration of 3 seasons. The package sees each season getting 6.5 million emalangeni, which is an increase rather of 500,000 emalangeni from the previous season.
MTN Eswatini, in conjunction with Premier League of Eswatini, have launched the 2022-2023 Premier League season with a package of 6.5 million emalangeni, which saw an increase of 500,000 emalangeni compared to the previous season. The sponsorship is extended to 3 years, which now will bring the total to 19.5 million emalangeni for the 3 seasons. Minister for Sports Haris Bulunga says this is a sign that sporting activities, most importantly football, is being assisted financially.
This new package will ensure that all clubs receive something at the end of the season. This is important and we commend it. As many will know, the business of running a football club can be super expensive. It is therefore important for all our clubs to receive some sort of financial injection at the end of a training season, whatever their finishing position.
Wandile Mjari, the MTN Eswatini Chief Executive Officer, says that they remain committed to the development of football in the country.
MTN will continue to commit ourselves, our resources, to make sure that the Kingdom of Eswatini enjoys the best class of football. We are looking forward to a point where MTN would be, and PLE would be really one of the highest recognized sports in the kingdom and also across the African continent.
Peter Samuel Simirani, the president of the National Football Association, says MTN Eswatini sponsorship to Premier League is a true reflection of football in the country.
The Football Association hopes through mutual efforts from all members of the league, staff and stakeholders, the football family will witness great show of football matches which the general populace is impatient for their onset.
Mark Carmichael, the Premier League of Eswatini chairperson, says they have always remained thankful to the support from MTN Eswatini for the past 20 years.
As the chairman of the Premier League of Eswatini, I find myself in that we've got to rebuild the clubs. And that's why I say, Minister, we pray for your wisdom. Uthi ungasikhohli le phansi kulaba labadlala isibhola, labaqasha abakhochi, labaqasha abadlali. And sibavele labantu ukuthi awu ingenge sesikhathi sesifikile nje ukuthi sibabambise.
Recently, a sponsorship of 2 million emalangeni was injected in Momo Cup tournament, as now the total has been 8.5 million emalangeni from MTN to football in the country just for the 2022-2023 season. For Eswatini TV Sports, Fabrice Msonera, Babale.
That's all for now. Before you go, let's have a look at our top stories. His Majesty King Mswati III has commended Mswati for not giving up on the country's vision of making it to first world status. Angola President-elect João Lourenço has officially been sworn into office. The Deputy Prime Minister says the passing of Queen Elizabeth II is a major loss to Eswatini as she worked well with the country. And with that, we sum up our bulletin for the evening. Up next is the weather update. From myself and the team, thank you for your company. Good night.